compellingly easy to label negative, and certain things would seem more compellingly easy to label positive. And what I am sharing is that the reason that this happens is that this is the echo from being who you are, being positive, acting with integrity, or not. The point of all this is the following. When you begin to get off the fence and act according to who you are, with your integrity, with your excitement, continuously, flawlessly, without interruption, without pause. 3 days later, and 3 days later, and 3 days later, there is an accumulative effect, there is an accumulative echo of neutral events, which would seem more overwhelmingly easy to label positive. When you continually do things that do not excite you and are not representative of who you choose to be, the opposite happens. Things come along which seem to be very negative. If you do both, sometimes what is representative of who you are, and sometimes not, which is generally what most of you do, you will experience things that come along that seem quite positive, things that come along that seem quite negative, and there to be somewhat of a balance of the two. Now, how you act upon any circumstance 3 days later then determines what happens in that moment and 3 days later than that. So, should you have something occur today from a negative thing that you have done 3 days ago, but you understand one moment I have decided I am a positive-oriented being, and therefore I understand that this is neutral, and yes, I can say why me and get the negative meaning out of it, and then get another negative effect right now and 3 days later. Or I can say, how is this of service to me now that I have decided to be the person that I desire to be, get immediately a positive effect from, by the way, a seemingly negative action in the past, so to speak, and then create 3 days later a positive reflection or effect. So at any point you can head off the process. But what I am sharing is that when you continuously act as who you are, get off the fence and act as though you trust that you are the person you prefer to be, you start getting a continual effect of everything that seems to happen to you is overwhelmingly easy to label positive, without any of the seeming more easily labeled negative circumstances happening. When you begin to be who you choose to be continuously, the effect of that is an explosion of ecstatic coincidence, of things being delivered to you through the strangest and least expected of paths. The reason for the peppering of the negative seeming occurrences is because of the peppering of the negative choices in the moment. And you can decide to no longer do this. You can decide, just decide, to be who you prefer to be, to act according to who you know yourself to be with integrity, flawlessly. The universe always supports any decision that you make. And you have noticed that when you make decisions according to, perhaps you can say, obligation rather than who you know yourself to be, you still get along. You still seem to support yourself, though, as you say, generally by the seat of your pants, if you wear them. You may also understand that the universe is just as flawless when you do what excites you, what is representative of who you are, and still creates that support, still creates that abundance, and in fact, the abundance seems to increase because it's now allowing you to continue to be who you are. If something that you are perpetuating seemingly through making decisions in the now moment keeps resulting in you making the decision of not being in who you are in the moment, sometimes the universe will, through feedback, withhold abundance so that you simply cannot continue to do that. And therefore, abundance at best seems to be a slippery thing. For it is the result of being who you are, not being who you are, being who you are, and finally you saying on some level, you wish to always be who you are, so the universe delivers whatever messengers will allow you to come back to that center And often this will take the place of having no money, no abundance. So you simply cannot continue to do the things that are no longer representative of who you choose to be. When you choose to be who you are consciously with your head held high, the universe supports you completely. The universe allows you and delivers to you everything that you need in order to continue to be who you are. And the reason that the universe does this,
two have yet to come. In the great continental distribution, 5 continents, 2 yet to come. Therefore, in the great septenary of laws, 5 have been revealed and 2 are concealed. Now, in your astronomical system of the ancients, there is reference to the 7 planets. Yet the ancient did not know 7 planets. He knew only 5 planets, and he added to these the luminaries, the sun and moon, to make 7. He was well aware that the sun and moon were not planets, but they became the shields, or the blinds, or the symbols for the 2 planets which were not then known. In the same way, there are 5 laws that we now know, and 2 laws that cannot be known to us until, through our own experience and through our own growth, we unfold the sensitivity of them, or to them, from within our own natures. They are operating, but we cannot yet differentiate them. Perhaps we shall learn something of them through our atomic researches, which are coming gradually and which will undoubtedly expand until ultimately we shall come face to face with universal principles and laws that we do not yet recognize. But the ancients recognized that there were 7 laws, only 5 of which were known. Therefore, to complete their septenary of laws, they added 2 shells, or 2 symbols, symbolic laws, which are actually derived substantially from other laws, but which are now advanced to fill in the septenary and to cover for the ones that are not as yet known. For actually, the law of evolution actually covers the law of rebirth, and the law of cause and effect covers the law of karma. So our difference has been that we have taken these 2 laws, rebirth or reincarnation, and cause and karma, and we have declared them to represent laws operating upon the moral level of human conduct, and used these 2 to complete the septenary. The law of rebirth would be an inevitable correlative of evolution, because actually evolution, operating through cause and effect, must be the perpetual growth of things. And the perpetual growth of things contains within its own concept everything relating to the continuing improvement of forms and the re-embodying of life principles in forms until they attain their maturity or perfection. Therefore, reincarnation is to us the law of evolution applied to the moral and ethical life of the individual. And the law of karma is the law of cause and effect brought within the personal experience of the individual and his problems. These are the 2 laws that cover the greater laws that remain as yet unrevealed. So by means of them we create the septenary. Now what can we add at this time to a discussion of the law of reincarnation that would not more or less parallel material we have previously covered? There are some points, I think, that might be valuable, because we are now thinking in terms of a septenary of laws. And we are therefore assuming and affirming that these laws exist, and that these laws are necessary to the fulfillment of the primary law, and that all laws make evolution complete. For it is the root law like the root race or the root power relating to the other septenaries that we have considered. This law, the law of reincarnation and karma, these two laws, have one important peculiarity. We call them symbol laws, or blinds, or cover laws, to conceal something else that we do not know. Buddhism would consider this highly correct, because it would tell us that these two laws, peculiarly applicable to man, exist on the level we know them only because of the mind of man. That reincarnation and karma, therefore, are man-made laws, yet related to and dependent upon almost completely two great universal laws. One of the reasons why this is true is because Buddhism points out that these laws are both based upon man's acceptance of certain illusions in his own nature. The law of rebirth is based upon man's acceptance of the need to survive as a person. This law is not primarily involved in the original concept of evolution, because evolution has nothing to do with man surviving. Evolution has only to do with God perfecting. And man in this pattern becomes only an instant or a moment in the evolution of a divine being. But man, with his own peculiar attachments to things, considers his own survival as an individual far more important than his ultimate renunciation of selfhood in order that deity may be perfected. Thus man, striving desperately to survive as a being, sets into action mental processes which carry forward from embodiment to embodiment in the form of an intellectual continuity of self-consciousness. Thus the individual